Hey everyone, welcome to the show, episode 78, round 2 preview. We're into round 2 of the AFL 2026 season, folks, and it's going to kick off with Hawthorn versus the Sydney Swans. So let's talk about that battle, folks. For me, they got 2 injuries, Heaney and Goulden. Goulden with the shoulder injury, potentially 4 months missed. Heaney, 3 to 5. We'll see how long it takes him to get over that hammy. For the players they brought in, it's the only team lineup we got so far, folks. It is a Thursday morning, so look, Corey Warner and Caden Cleary are the players that are replacing Isaac Heaney and Goulden. Look, Warner, Corey Warner, not Chad. He has played a little bit. He's obviously no Aaron Goulden, but he'll come in and try to take a spot in the side while he can, and try to cement a spot. So Caden Cleary as well has played, but not to the light of a Heaney as well. So look, we know with Sydney's lineup, your Kernow, Amati, Logan McDonald. For Hawthorn, their defence is their pillar. Barras, obviously Battle, Sicily. Hardwick as well. He's going to put that hard tag on players like Papley. And look, in the midfield, it's going to be an interesting battle. So they're 2 midfielders down Sydney, which is going to help Hawthorn with Newcomb, Weddle, Mackenzie named in the starting lineup on the middle with Amon and Moore on the wing. So, that being said, they also have, just to finish up on their defence, they have Scrimshaw to help down back. Look, for Sydney's defence, McCartan's going to have another good game. He's probably not going to, he's got to have to play on Mitchell Lewis. Mitchell Lewis is looking fit this time of year. I feel like he's going to have one big game sooner than later. He's consistently played all the preseason games. He's played opening round and round 1. Now he's gone into, after a few weeks of football under his belt, he's going to perform quite well. They're after going to stop Gunston. Obviously, their little small forwards, Ginnivan and Watson. And also Butler's in good form. So, look, Rowbottom, Chad Warner, McHenry, Sarong and Matthew Roberts all going to have to step up in the midfield. Obviously, we talked about Newcomb and Weddle. We just mentioned that. But they're the battles. Meek versus Grundy as well. So Meek's going to have to really get in there and give it to Grundy and also Reeves. So Grundy's going to have to play on 2 ruckmen. He's going to have to shoulder load a fair bit and have whoever he can get in there, whether it's probably a Marty to be that second ruck. I don't think they like throwing Logan McDonald after he's been injured in there. It'd be a blend of either one. So they have to stop, obviously, Charlie Kernow. We talked about all those roles. But for me, it's going to be hard not to go past Hawthorn. I feel like with those 2 superstars missing, and it's going to be their first time playing without them this year. And he's seen what happened when Goulding went out last year with the fractured ankle. I believe it's going to be hard for Sydney. So we're going to go with Hawks. I feel like the small forwards of Hawthorn can get going. If they just have a couple of their tools stand up and kick them a score, I think Hawthorn's defence is good enough to stop the tools of Sydney, and they're not going to get the ball use like they've had in the last couple of weeks. So, look, Sydney are in form. It's just whether they can actually stand up without those 2 superstars. So that's the game for me, folks. We'll move on to the next one. And the next one is, just letting it load up, folks. Adelaide versus the Western Bulldogs. Now, this is a cracker, folks. To me, This could be the match of the round, including the game we just talked about. This one, we got the Bulldogs in form. They just pumped the Giants. They just beat the reigning premiers the week before that in opening round. We'll just see if there's any lineup yet. The Bulldogs are actually, believe it or not, favourites by 4 cents to win the game. $1.94 to $1.90. Generally, I don't like pumping too much of the odds into things because that's irrelevant to me. I'm not much of a gambler, but that's up to people if they want to do that. That's your choice. And I'm just giving the odds because I just wanted to say how close those odds were. 4 cents a difference going to the Bulldogs' way. So, yeah. Look, Crows' defense, to me, Butts is going to have to shut down Darcy, Aaron Norton, Worrell, or Murray. They're going to also have to take down the other tools, whether it's the new player Lewis or they bring in Croft. We haven't got a lineup yet, and I think Croft went out the last game as well. So whether he comes back or not, we'll see. Whether they go tool, they go smaller in that forward line. They've got enough tools there for the Bulldogs. So, to me, we'll just quickly see their last lineup. Why Croft went out, just to double check that one. So, just load that one up. So yeah, they had Darcy, Norton, Haynes, West, Sanders, and Liberatore. So they weren't quite smaller. Croft is injured. Not too sure why. Doesn't quite say. But I think he'll be back. Should hopefully be back. Can't quite remember whether it was a couple of week injury. But yeah, for me, they've got that lineup. They've got O'Donnell down back. This is where it'll be one for the game, actually. It'd be whether the Bulldogs defense can stand up to stop Walker, Fogarty, and Thilthorpe. You'll have Lobb potentially playing on Thilthorpe or O'Donnell, depending if they want Lobb being that interceptor. That may be the key. If you play him in an intercepting role, just put him in front of Thilthorpe just to stop that run. 1-on-1 though, he's gonna probably potentially beat O'Donnell, but Lobb, it will be a bit harder. Lobb's got longer arms; he can come through and punch. But from a halfback aspect, Dale, Butterick, Jacks as well, and Bukas Karma, so he's going to have to play an intercepting role. So they've got 2 interceptors there and 2 potential one-on-one players for them. Karmas, he's probably going to have to play on the Fogarty role as well. So not like Tex, it's going to be a hard one. So they have to decide between Lobb or McDonald on Tex and Thilthorpe, and then stronger player like Fogarty, is he going to get on top of Buku and push him around a bit? So it could potentially be one in the forward line of the Crows and also in the forward line of Western Bulldogs. Because the midfield, look, you're going to have Dawson, Rochelle, Barry, and then you're going to have Kennedy, Richards, Kennedy, Bontempelli, Davidson, and Williams on the wing. So hard-running wings with a very solid inside midfield. And then for the Crows, their midfield, it's going to be interesting to see if they can match up with them. We'll just get their last starting midfield so we get a bit of an understanding. I don't think the Crows team will change too much. So we'll just quickly have a look at that, because this is where it's going to be one, folks. So Dawson, Barry, Rochelle, as I just mentioned, spot on. Cumming and Cook on the wing. So, look, hard-running wings as Cumming and Cook. He's coming into his own element. But can they take on the lights of Bonds, Richards? Liberatore and all those tough sort of, and Kennedy's arguably his best career form. So look, Kennedy will run on Dawson. There's no doubt about that. Berry will probably try a run on Bont. Rochelle, well, that's just going to be a battle. With Richards and stuff like that. Look, I think the Bulldogs have a better midfield on paper, but it's just whether the Crows can gel and get together and just like it's not both forward lines are good and both defenses. It's like the defense, Worrell, Butts, Malira's in career form, Roy Laird, Hugh Bond, they're going to have to just play that shutdown role. Bond will probably play on Riley West and try to shut him down. That's a tough one. This is a 50-50 game. This is going to be the game of the season, or game of the round, sorry. Could be the game of the season. You never know the way these two teams are going. Crows at home. It's going to be hard. But the Bulldogs are in tip-top shape. This is a 50-50 one for me, folks. So I can't emphasise more than that. I think that covers the game quite good. We'll go on to the next one. We'll try to pump these games out reasonably quick so people get an understanding. So we got Richmond versus the Suns at the MCG Saturday afternoon, 12:45. And this one, very much is in the Suns' favour. The Suns have had a very easy start to the season, playing West Coast. Now they've obviously started with Geelong, but playing West Coast and Richmond, common AFL. Let's give the lower teams a bit of a fair run. That's a little bit rough in my liking. There's no way Richmond should be playing a top 8 side maybe this early as well. We mentioned that yesterday, like the last podcast with West Coast and the Suns. But look, we mentioned the Tigers' defense is their pillar. They're going to have to stop Ben King. And look, the midfield, it's just going to be domination by the Suns. Whether they get Rao back or not, they might just give him another week off. Get him cherry right for the next game. The forward line for the Tigers, they're going to struggle to stop that run of the half-back for the Gold Coast Suns. So not only they're going to run them in the midfield, they're going to run them off that half-back. They've got good enough defensive pillars like Collins, McAndrew to stop any of the Tigers' tall forwards. Full, Armstrong, Full's actually not going to be there because he's been suspended. So, bam, he is out. All of a sudden, Armstrong and Lynch, they just want him to get through the game. Maybe kick a bit straighter. He will, because the legs will be just going through a bit more run in the legs. He'll eventually kick straighter because he's just missed a lot of footy, folks. He's been criticised a lot. His actions aren't the best sometimes. But look, he's going to be frustrated. It is going to be one of those games. He's not going to get much of the ball. Delivery is not going to be that good because the pressure from the Suns. That's an easy game, folks. You can put it in pencil. I would love Richmond to stir up the game. Have their defense just put a lot of pressure. Broad, Miller, Bolter, Short. Like, it's a reasonably experienced defense, but they're going to be on the pump from that midfield. Taranto, he's not going to be able to stop the likes of the Suns midfield. Anderson, Petrarca, Miller. I think that's just enough said. So, yeah, expect Noah Anderson to have probably close to 40. A goal. Petrarca, 25, 2 to 3 goals. Ben King, is he going to kick another bag of 5 or 6? I think the defence will slow a little bit of Gold Coast, but the delivery is going to be good. The pressure from that midfield, Lalo is going to get a lesson from the Gold Coast Suns. They're going to teach him. I hope he steps up and plays a great game and holds them accountable. Nankervis versus Wits. The ruck battle will be interesting. Quite similar ruck in a way. That's the game, folks. We'll move on to the next one. St Kilda, GWS. GWS versus St Kilda. It's at GWS's home ground. We know they play that quite well. They beat Hawthorn. St Kilda 0-2. They'll get Marshall back. Can they stretch him down in that forward line and stretch the GWS's defense? They're not that tall down there, so from my aspect, GWS's defense won't struggle on those tools and won't be as much of a problem compared to the week before with Aaron Norton and Darcy. So there's an advantage there for GWS. Midfield battle. Winhager, they don't have Philippou running off the half forward into the midfield. They're one down. Winhager, he's going to have to play a great role against that GWS side. GWS midfield, Clayton Oliver, he's going to have to step up. Green through that running midfield as well, so may play up forward. GWS's forward line, Jesse Hogan, can he get into the game? Takes some good, strong grabs. Riccardi as well. Briggs swapping down there. The small forwards like Gothard as well. Look, I think if GWS's forward line kicks enough score, they'll win. St Kilda, look, Wangani Malera is going to have to run through that midfield. Is he going to get tagged? GWS are good at bringing a player in to tag him. We'll see what happens. They'll have a run with player. Look, let's just quickly check their lineup. So what they went with the last game. Obviously, they couldn't run with Bont. And Bont sort of just had that strong midfield prowess as he does. So Oliver, Green, Callahan, Thompson, Angwin. So Angwin's going to run hard on the wing along with Thompson. Not well-known names, but Angwin's actually had a good start to the year. Oliver, I think, he'll have to have a big game. Callahan, I think he has the potential to rip the season open for GWS and be that player that he potentially could be. Is he going to run with the likes of Wangani Malera, McRae? McRae, just bring up the lineup for them as well, just so we got the full amount of numbers there. And we'll go with what they started, so that's the easiest sort of way. They might change some stuff, but obviously Winhager as well, Sam Flanders, Sinclair running off and Hall. So Hall's career form, don't sleep on him. Like, he'll be running against probably Green, Flanders. He's going to be in there either on Callahan or Sinclair. So they're going to have a mixture. I feel like Winghager's going to go in there. Put Winghager on like a player like Callahan, stop him, slow him, run off possessions off him. So I feel like that midfield's 50-50. I feel like GWS's forward line's better than St Kilda's defensive lineup. And the height's not going to worry GWS so much down there unless Marshall can absolutely play a dominant game. He's going to have to step up. So GWS for me at home. And we'll move on to the next game, folks. We're just bringing that up now. So